Hey guys, starting over after divorce in your 50s, 60s, I have to admit is not the easiest thing. I've got a separate video on what's involved in terms of what people don't tell you about the heartache you go through or what races through your mind while you're going through the divorce. It's a pretty daunting experience, and you think there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but there is. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't last forever. It might last for a year. It could be a year of uh, horrendous misery and suffering and sleepless nights and the anxiety. Oh my God, the anxiety. But that's not this video is not about that. That's my other video, which I'll actually connect onto the corner of this video, so you can actually watch it if you want to watch it. This is all about starting over after your divorce. You've gone through your divorce. You've gone through all the pain, the outlay, the financial burden. Let's face it, us guys do get done over when it comes to divorcing, especially in Australia. And you now have to rebuild. You have to actually get started. The first point that I will tell you is do not focus on what you have gone through. The second point I will tell you is do not hold animosity against your partner, okay? Because holding on to what has happened and holding animosity towards your partner for whatever reason it may be will not help you move on. It will hold you back longer. You'll suffer longer. Your health will start to degrade if you don't get over it. And you could actually end up rather sick and maybe even in hospital, or who knows, in a psychiatric place somewhere. Nobody wants that, because life isn't just about going to hospital, ending up in a psychiatric ward, okay? You have to get over it. You have to actually stop focusing on divorce, start focusing on the future, all right? And I have to say, regardless of what your partner may have done to you, forgive. Don't forget, but forgive and move on, because it's really what's going to help you actually take the next leap forward. And when I say leap, it's usually a leap, because normally after a divorce, when your partner is gone, you got a lot of new opportunities in front of you. Your life is starting over. You have options after a divorce that you otherwise wouldn't have had in a very toxic marriage or relationship. It kind of hit me hard, like I didn't have to answer to anybody. I didn't have to say anything to my other half when I was going. Not that I did anyway, but for a lot of guys, that is the case. All right. So there's a lot of men out there that actually they feel subdued by their partners, and when the partner's gone, it's like a whole world of freedom has just opened up, and they've just been let out of jail. That's a marriage that you don't want to be in. And if you've gotten out of that marriage, boys, let me tell you, you are a free man. You can actually live how you want now. You can go do whatever you want. You don't have to answer to anybody. Your money's yours. You can't get better than that. But the first most important points I give anybody after a divorce is forgive your partner, let him move on. It allows you to move on, and don't dwell on the past. All right, look at the opportunities you have ahead of you in terms of your career, meeting new people. If you want to get with another woman, I did. I got with another woman. I never held anything against the opposite sex, and the woman that I'm with right now is we're on the same page with everything. There's no arguments. There's no disagreements. We actually agree on everything we want to do together. I couldn't have found any better. All right, honestly, guys, not because she's my woman, I could not have found any better. And if you're looking for another woman or another partner, right, it can be the same for you. You just got to find the same person who's got similar interests. My problem with my previous partner, not that there was anything wrong with her, but she was who she was. She had a lot of red flags when I met her, 30 years ago. That's 30 years of flushed down the drain. But if I should have done anything, it should have been back before I had kids. But once I had kids, it was my responsibility to actually continue the responsibility of being a dad. I don't let go of my family. I don't let go of my loved ones. And I kept at it. But, her habits got worse and worse as she got older, as we both aged. And the arguments got more and more intense. And towards the last 12 months, 2 years before the divorce, it was ridiculous. The toxicity was incredible. The toxicity was intoxicating, I could more or less say. It was intoxicating. I don't know. I lost count after 8 police visits to the house. I was the spectacle in my street. We had no peace, absolutely no peace. We're going through a divorce. But once it was over, and you start to wake up, and you start to find that your bed is all yours in the morning, all right? The arguments are gone. The toxicity is gone because the toxic partner is gone, all right? You kind of have a double-edged sword. You have a sense of loneliness and a sense of new beginnings. Like you found a new you. Like it's something that you never experienced in 30 years. I was married for 30 years. I found a new me. I actually started going back to the gym. I started getting in shape. I started eating better. Oh, and I've got some more YouTube videos coming up about health and how I changed my health for the better. So please subscribe and hit it up underneath. And you'll get those videos as well with recommended links of who to follow to get yourself back on track. And I mean, seriously, get yourself back on track. I'm not talking about killing yourself exercising either. All right. But anyway, moving on, I got back into shape. All right. I started to feel better. All right. The divorce started to fade further and further into the background. And I was starting to look forward towards the new beginnings and, meeting new people, going out with my mates, the odd date with some woman every now and then until I found my partner again. And it's always been that way for me now. And I mean, ever since I found my new partner, I haven't really worried. I couldn't be happier, actually. I really couldn't be happier. I'd rather be back in a relationship with the right woman than be single. But that's me. There's guys that are actually single. They want to stay single. The point of the matter is you may be getting divorced at 50, 60, or whatever that age group may be. And, I worked my ass off. I built a business. I was 20 grand away from paying my mortgage off and everything went on its head. All right. But I don't look at that. I've always looked at, as being in debt, as, being part of life. I mean, if I'm not renting through a landlord, I'm renting through a bank, more or less. So, I try not to actually wave my my thoughts on that because that doesn't help. And I don't need that sitting at the back of me. It just makes my life more difficult. I just noticed that when I finally got rid of the toxicity in my life, I did a couple of things which got me back on track really quickly. And if you follow these steps, all right, these few steps, 3 or 4 steps, you will find that you will come out of the shadows really fast, all right? Like I said in the beginning, don't focus on the past. Forget it. It's done. It's dusted. There's no refunds in life, okay? It's not coming back. So don't focus on the past, all right? Get yourself into some fitness, all right? Fitness helps. Walking, running, riding a push bike, going to the gym. If that's your thing, go to the gym, all right? Focus on your work, all right? Focus on your business. If you've got a business, focus on your business. If you work for someone else, focus on your job. These things will take your mind off the immediate pressure of having gone through a divorce, especially if it's a toxic one, and it will get you back on track really quickly. Your mood will change. You'll start to go from being depressed to being happy. Your anxiety will disappear. Okay, I have really bad anxiety attacks. So it will disappear. You'll start to go back to being really happy and really looking forward to life and the changes that are coming up. Outside of that, that's all that you really need to do. If you just focus on those 3 or 4 principles that I just mentioned, you will find your life will improve rather rapidly. All right, and right now I've got everything I've worked for. I just had to go back into debt for it, of course, but I've got everything that I had to work for. All right, and I've got a beautiful woman in my life, one I should have met 30 years ago, but unfortunately that wasn't the case back then. And I've got my toys and my business is, back on track. Everything, I'm focusing on everything, and I couldn't be happier. So guys, starting over at 50, 60 again, all right, it's not a bad thing. All right, it's not. It really isn't, because if you come out of a toxic relationship, how can it be a bad thing going away from the toxic relationship? You obviously got into a toxic relationship to begin with. You just didn't know it because it was early days. Everything was, hunky and rosy, and you didn't know that the person you're with wasn't right for you for whatever reason it may be. Maybe you weren't right for them. But if it's a toxic relationship, starting over in your mid 50s or 60s, like I got divorced at 55, sorry, which was back in 21, right? Um, it's not a bad thing. It's a new beginning, all right? So There's new hope. There's new light. There's new prosperity. You got no idea what is out there for you to live for. All right. I couldn't be happier right now. I mean, I'm happy now than what I ever was in the last 20 years of my life. And all because I allowed the right person into my life. So guys, hit the subscribe button. There's going to be many more videos to do with health, wealth, and specifically health at our age, guys. Specifically health. All right. And as soon as I do a YouTube video, a new video, you'll get a notification of it. And remember, keep your heads up. Don't think there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just going through a moment. Once it blows over, you'll be glad you watched this video. You'll be glad you follow those principles. Focus on your work. Focus on your fitness. Forget about the past and forgive. And it's all over. Done.